Hey guys, so here I am, Monday the 20th, the day of Donald Trump's inauguration, heaven help us. As you can see, I'm actually back in my room doing the video on today's run. And the reason I'm back in the room is because by the time I got back, I was so wet, from my head to my toes, that I really had to get home, back to the accommodation and have a shower and warm up. So it was an amazing hike, whatever you want to call it. I did 18 kilometers, I think, or 19 kilometers, about 800 meters of ascent, and about 3.5 hours. And it was, I suppose, the first thing, it rained, proper rain. I mean, Madeira rain isn't like Irish rain. When it comes down, boy, does it come down. And it came down in absolute buckets, literally buckets. Now, fortunately, I had my rain jacket with me that I bought before I went away to Gran Canaria. I never used in Gran Canaria, Tenerife, but boy, I used it today. And it worked a treat. It kept my core, my chest and my core dry and warm. And so that was the really important bit. I was wearing a pair of shorts, my running shorts, and my runners, my Brooks Cascadia. And they were, I mean, after a while you gave up trying to avoid the puddles because your shoes were just full of water. But the run was amazing. So let me tell you about it and why it was amazing. It was a mix first. So you were going through, I followed one of the Lavals, these irrigation waterways that they have, these small irrigation waterways that they have. Actually, I must check that out and find out who built them and when. I mean, but if you saw where I was today, they were marvels of engineering. So first we went through small towns, or not towns, little villages and little agricultural areas. Everybody here, by the way, seems to have a kitchen garden. I mean, everybody. And not growing just their veg, but of course they've got their lemon trees and their bananas trees and their orange trees. It's actually lovely. But so first we were going through that, and that was lovely. It was just nice to see it. And then we came into forest, and that was really nice as well. And like the forest I was in the other day when I talked about the wonderful scents, the same here, these beautiful trees, these big trees. I think they're eucalyptus trees, I don't know what they are. But the scent is spectacular, and particularly after the rain. And we got into this forest, and the path moved through a forest and then over to cliffs. And I'd cross little streams on little, what do you call them, stepping stones that were built there for that. And then we went along this cliff face, and they'd clearly cut the Laval, let's say about, the whole thing was about maybe 1 metre wide, and the Laval was there, and then the little path beside it, maybe, I don't know, 750 centimetres max, some of it even narrower than that, and a sheer drop. I mean, literally, when I say sheer drop, I'm not kidding you. Maybe, I reckon about 300 meters at the steepest place, and about 100 meters for a lot of it. In one or two places, there was a railing, not really a railing. It's they have these posts up, and they've a rope type of thing going through the top of it. I'm not sure it'd help you, to be honest. If you tripped, I think you just go straight through it and down you'd go. But they had that in some places, but in some really dodgy places, they had nothing at all. And it was really dodgy. So if you were doing this kind of walking, hiking, running, you really wanted to head for heights, you really wanted good balance. At times I was walking along what effectively was a wall, i.e. the Laval, but you were walking along a little path beside, about so wide, and straight down was a drop of 200 or 300 meters, and that's it. There was nothing else. You're walking along that. There was no guards, no nothing. So you'd want to know what you're doing, and you'd want to have confidence that you're able to do it. You wouldn't want to be nervous at this kind of stuff. So that was really spectacular. And so I walked on the walk, and eventually I came to the end of the walk, and it came to a sort of a dead end where the Laval continued, but there was no little narrow path beside it. There was nothing beside it. All you had was the irrigation way. So I actually don't know how they built this thing. It must be incredible. I'm assuming they did it with pickaxes and crowbars and sledgehammers or something. They didn't have machinery. But I would definitely go to Google it and check it out and find out how they did them. Because where I came to an end, you can see it. There was it continues on, but it's only that wide, the width of Laval, so on a cliff. So how they did it is beyond me. So that was really, really wonderful. So I got up to the end of it, turned around and came back, and the rain was just unrelenting, I think is the word. It just literally bucketed down. I was really glad I was only in shorts. I got that one from Ellie. Because your legs are wet, it doesn't matter. But you don't want your wet leggings or wet trousers sticking to you. So being in the shorts is the easiest thing. And so anyway, I came back, but I missed my turn off, and I continued on past it. And the terrain looked familiar because it all looked sort of familiar. But eventually I realised I'd done a wrong turn. I checked the all trails, I realised I'd done a wrong turn. And I ran back that bit and then back down to the car. And when I got the car, I was just too wet and cold a little bit. Even though my core wasn't cold, my hands were cold, my arms were cold, and my legs were cold, and the shoes were soaking wet and full of water. So I decided to just come straight back, have a shave, have a shower, and do this then. So that was today. I really, really enjoyed it. 18 kilometers, 3.5 hours. That's about a nice length, I think. 18-20 kilometers for that kind of walk. Of course, don't be put off by the ascent, the 800 meters. It's not real because you have a very steep ascent at the beginning. So I climbed up at the beginning, but once you get up, it's sort of level. So once you do your initial ascent, of the 3.5 hours, I suppose 15 minutes was, or half an hour was climbing, 3 hours was just flat. Really, really nice. I would imagine that in summertime you could do this in any kind of gear. You don't need gear. You really could walk this in anything. It'd be lovely and dry, and the views, of course, I'd no views, but the views would be spectacular. It was interesting though, one quick comment, you got to be careful up here because the little streams coming down were just little trickles when I was going over, and when I was coming back, there were torrents. And one of them actually, the stepping stones were actually underwater. So I ran across, my feet just going into the stream underwater, and there's a torrent coming down, and it came down across the stepping stones and then straight down to 100 meters, I suppose. So a bit dodgy. So I can imagine that if you went up there in bad weather, you could get stuck very, very easily. And of course, I had no views. I was up in the clouds in the middle of it. So that was this morning. I really enjoyed it. The nicest one I've had so far, I think, despite the rain. I just really, really enjoyed it. And I picked it because I knew I'd have the Laval. I knew there'd be some sort of path there or something there, as opposed to doing a forest one that I knew would just be swamped. The soil here is quite thick, and it gets very clayey very, very quickly. Sort of clayey and mucky and sticky very, very quickly. So the forest trails, once it rains, forget about it. I don't know how they drive through them. I see people driving through them in ordinary cars, but I don't know how they do it. So that was so much for this morning. I don't know yet what I'm going to do for the afternoon. But yesterday was Sunday, of course, and yesterday afternoon I decided it was the perfect time to go down to the capital, to Funchal, and have a look around. And thought there wouldn't be a lot of traffic and this kind of stuff. So I went over, and what a lovely city. Really, really nice. Make one comment about Madeira. It's very, very clean. That's just my broad experience of it so far. It's really, really clean. And the capital city, it was just wonderful. Beautiful paving. The way they do these are mosaics in the paving. Beautiful, beautiful surfaces. Lovely walkways. The old town was charming. Lots of nice restaurants. I didn't get into the cathedral because it wasn't open until 6:15, and it was like 3:30, 3:15 by the time I was finished. I just didn't want to hang around for an hour and wait for it to open, which is a pity. I'd like to have seen it, but I saw it from the outside. But the city itself is really attractive. The old town, I'm talking about, really, really attractive. Then instead of going back via the tunnels and the motorway, I went back along the coast road for a stretch of it, through where I assumed all the tourist place would be, and sure enough, there was just hotel after hotel and apartment blocks and so on. All very nice, all very nicely done. But a couple of observations on Madeira. The first observation is, in terms of place for a holiday, if you're a hiker and you want to go up into the mountains and ideally bring your tent, and I think so in summer, probably from the months of April, May, or May, June, I think would be nice. I'd say July and August gets a bit hot here, and maybe September, October would be nice as well. But I think you'd bring your tent, and you could do the traverse, whatever they call it, of the island. They've got a loop, and they've got one that goes right up the length of the island. I think that would be lovely. I think it's actually part of a marathon run that they have down here. So that I think would be lovely. If you're not into hiking, I'm really not sure what you do here. There really isn't anything to do here. You don't have beautiful beaches like you have in other parts of this world. And the cities are small, the population is small, the cities are small. There's really nothing to do here. So I think that it really is a place to come for the kind of holiday I'm doing, where you're out and you're active and you're doing stuff. The second comment I'd make is on the economy. They grow bananas here. Historically, they've a reputation or a history of growing bananas, and you can see them everywhere, like plantations. It's sort of lovely, and big bunches of bananas. I'm sure there's 50 or 100 bananas on a bunch. It's quite incredible to see them. But I'm not sure what the economy is apart from tourism. There seems to be some sort of subsistence agriculture, small scale agriculture that they use probably for the local consumption and for the tourism as well. But they seem to import an awful lot of stuff. In fact, they seem to import pretty much everything. And apart from tourism, I'm not really sure how they eke out a living here. So, I see, for example, the motorway system and the tunnels. They have tunnels everywhere. Wonderful, wonderful system. Beautiful motorways, beautiful tunnels. And there's no way in God's earth that this island, with the population it has and the economy it has, could afford it. So I can only assume it's coming from Portugal and it's coming through the EU. I can only assume that's the case. But have they done a great job of it. And we have a lot to learn from them in terms of their ability to build out these projects. Because they've tunnel after tunnel after tunnel, some going on for miles through the mountains. Really, really impressive. In terms of, again, just back to holidays for a moment, in terms of food or whatever, not great. The food here is okay. That's about as far as I would go. The food's okay. Nothing really special. Nothing to write home about. And I think Portugal is better, and Spain is better than Portugal, and France is better than Spain. So there you go. It is what it is. For somebody like me, it makes no difference. I'm eating my sandwiches, I'm eating my omelettes, my pizzas, whatever, my salads. I'm not looking for fancy food. But booze here is cheap. I mean, obviously I'm not drinking, but my non-alcoholic beer, I think cost me $1.50 in a restaurant for non-alcoholic beer. I think $2.50 was the most I paid for one. And so that's cheap. The booze is cheap. The food is not. In general, this island is not inexpensive. It's not expensive, but it's not inexpensive. And I say if you went up, I mean, I'm traveling cheapo. I say if you went up a couple of rungs in the ladder in terms of what your expectations are, I say this place will get expensive very, very quickly. I mean, I had a pizza, my treat, you know, my once on a holiday pizza. I had a pizza yesterday, which was a wonderful pizza. It's had a thicker base than normal, and it was the toppings. It was solid. I mean, it must have been that depth of toppings on it. It was wonderful. But it was 15 or 16 euro. It's the exact same price as home. So, and that's me eating a pizza in a small little, you know, local type of restaurant. Nothing fancy at all. So I would imagine if you went to a decent hotel and had a decent meal, you'd be paying the same at home. Certainly I looked at a couple of places and the steaks were 25 quid for a steak over in Fuca, you know, so I think it's not an inexpensive destination. So that's sort of it. I've no idea what I'm going to do for the afternoon. It's still buckling down. I have some food here, so I think I'm going to make myself a salad and maybe a sandwich, keep me going, and then decide what I'll do with the rest of the day. So that's it, guys. So next video tomorrow. The adventure continue. Talk to you. Bye.